First, let's take a look at the overtone series. Sound is perceived by the brain through vibrations received in the ear. The vibrations or oscillations of a sound wave are measured in frequencies. When an instrument plays a certain note, it doesn't produce a solitary frequency, but multiple frequencies that create a single sound. This combination of frequencies is called the overtone series. Each frequency in the series can be altered in both loudness and intensity. Therefore, we hear and can differentiate different instruments as they create a different variation of overtone series for a certain pitch or note. That's why we can tell the difference from a violin and a guitar, even though the frequencies and pitch of the sounds are the same. This is also why one piano sound sounds different from another. They have different overtone profiles. In the 1950s, scientists discovered that they could electronically generate each frequency layered of a pitch. This synthetic overtone series generator became known as a synthesizer and completely changed music forever.
An electronic music synthesizer does the rest.
We are now able to digitally copy the overtone profile of an instrument in such an exact way that the waves and sounds of the synthetic instrument are almost indistinguishable from the real instrument. As more complex algorithms are being created, more and more new sounds are being made. With the invention of the Mini Moog synthesizer, the music industry was changed forever. And with the Mini Moog in 1970, synthesizers were made portable. This led to a growing progression of synthesizers in popular music. Sonically, the synthesizer was an innovation that allowed artists to create with an infinite amount of never-before-heard sounds. Artists and listeners were so attracted to these new sounds that the trend of synthesizing instruments continued to flourish. In the 1980s, scientists duplicated the overtone series of real instruments using frequency modulation. These FM synthesizers are what you hear in most of 1980s popular songs. Along with the introduction of duplication of drum sounds, the music scene was led by synthetically generated sounds. One thing that became popular in the 80s and has remained a pillar of Western music today is sampling and quantization. Sampling is the process of taking a wave file, editing it or splicing it, and then loading it into an instrument that triggers a certain splice of that sound to play. This was very popular, starting with rap music, and is now used in almost every genre. Music using samples can be made using analog equipment such as an MPC. The sounds are loaded in and assigned a pad with which they will individually trigger a sample when hit. Quantization is the process that digitally moves on any errors and exact fractions of beats. These fractions are mathematically calculated using algorithms that infer the tempo of the song and determine whole, eighth, 16th notes, and so on. Notice how the girl makes a mistake on the kick drum part, and the MPC corrects it with quantization afterwards. MIDI, short for Musical Instrumentation Digital Interface, was standardized in 1983. MIDI basically carries digital messages that dictate notation, pitch, and velocity. The messages are then read by computers and translated into music. MIDI has changed the music industry as it has allowed for computers to record and read synthetic music. With the emergence of MIDI and digital recording came the rise of DAWs, digital audio workstations. With a DAW, like the industry standard of Pro Tools, a person could have a compressor, equalizer, reverb, and effects, and a 64-channel mixer, all at the disposal of the person's computer, and for a fraction of the cost. DAWs have the ability to do almost anything that one would have to rent a recording studio for $500 an hour for. And DAWs are allowing for even more sound design and innovation, as it is so easy to create a unique sound using FM synthesis plugins.
After that, we need a drum, so one kick and one
This
clap.
has currently led to a huge trend of electronic dance music,
1, 2,
where
3,
synthesized instruments and quantized drum patterns create a sonic groove. This is a very new and ever-growing genre of music.
The saxophone, and it's a sample that I put in the NN19. This saxophone was like this. So we can record the sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the track is done. Thanks to Reason.
Alors on danse.
So what does all this mean for the future of music? The ability for people now to create and produce music in their home studios or bedrooms on their laptop makes for a huge flood of new competing artists. Sonic diversity and sound design will be what drives and influences popular music in the future. Although other aspects like rhythm, meter, and melody will still be just as important as they always have, it is timbre that will continue to expand and become different. And with new advances in technologies, it is becoming easier and easier to create music and sounds, and to get the music from your mind into your ears. Sonic abilities will be the cornerstone in the progression of the future of music, and we can't even imagine what sounds will be made.